it looks quite pretty. So they're the only two actually in flower at the moment. Now we'll go to a brief history of lavender. So lavender's been around in recorded history for probably 5,000 years. The first annals and recordings were on stone. The hieroglyphs are from the Egyptians. And from what I've read online, lavender was used primarily through most of history for perfumes and for healing, and they also used it for mummification. So they used to pack large pumices of lavender and soak them and use lavender essential oil within that properties with honey and things. Now the Egyptians had gold coins called shat, which was for the rich folks. But generally speaking, it was a barter system in Egypt, and there's lots of hieroglyphs showing lavender being exchanged for other goods, chicken eggs or whatever it is they have in Egypt. So it was used as a bartering tool within that. Now, if you fast forward another 3,000 years, you get the Roman Empire. Now, the Romans, they used lavender in a very similar way. They used it for cleaning and for medicines and for perfumes. The ladies carried sprigs of lavender everywhere with them because there wasn't a lot of sanitation and hygiene, although it seemed to be a bit better there than it did in the Middle Ages, which I'll mention in a minute. But also, you can just about make out, maybe I made the picture a bit small, but at the bottom there is a gladiator being treated after a battle. So wounds of any nature were treated with lavender pumice and also lavender oil. The chemistry bit I'll go through in a minute, it kind of explains to you why. There's lots in there that are anti-inflammatory and they're really good at healing. So after the Romans, another 1,000 years later, because the Romans were about maybe 30 BC, at 1000 AD, you're looking at the Middle Ages. So if you think maybe 500 AD to 1500 AD, there's things going on like the fall of the Roman Empire, there's the rise of Islam in the East, and there's also things in the Middle East, in the West, like the Black Death, which was around the 1300s. So in the 1300s, Europe probably reduced in size by about 75%. There was a huge loss, and people started taking sanitation and cleanliness very seriously after that. And they tried to stop things like filling buckets full of urine and feces and throwing them out the window, which wouldn't have helped with these things. But yeah, so they seen it as very important to be clean, and they use lavender a lot in that aspect. If you fast forward again, no, that's backwards. If you go forwards again to the Victorian age, the Victorian age ended around 1901, but all through the 1800s, especially during the Victorian age, lavender was seen as a thing of cleanliness again and health and healing, but also it became a romantic flower. Lavender was given in pillows during the mid to 1800s as a sign of devotion to someone. And it's practiced today actually in China, where it came from. Young boys will give a lavender stuffed teddy bear to a young girl that he quite fancies. And if it's reciprocated, then hey, they get married and so on and so forth. But lavender plays a big role in that. Now, this is how lavender's seen today. Everywhere around the world. Everybody says to me, it's for grannies. Now, there's nothing wrong with grannies. There's lots of use in here. But what I'm trying to do is make sure that everyone understands that lavender plays a key role in globally. So at the moment, it's in cancer research. We have lavender being used for neuropathy and also for things like Alzheimer's. There's lots of research to do with lavender and the chemistry of lavender, synthetics of it, for that kind of thing. So hopefully we can try and lift and elevate lavender again to where people, because it's gone through history, through wars and entire nations that have gone and fallen, and lavender's still around, and yet it's seen in such a small light at the moment. But I think it's a fantastic plant.